Hello and welcome everyone to Disco Elysium, the final cut. We are here in the Doom commercial area, and we found out last time what this was all about. We met Neha, very nice lady, and now it's time to report back to Plaisance. Ooh, there was something. For animals, no rest for their bodies after death. Okay. Let's return to the bookstore. And we also learned that there are still 2 mercenaries running about here in Martinez doing their own investigation. And we have to conclude our investigation before they decide to pretty much execute a bunch of people. We will try to stop that from happening. We also found out that we now can sing karaoke soon, so do that. Before I talk to her, let me just equip robot for that. Results.
What have you found? And also, do buy the books. There may be teachings in them.
I talked to the entity you told me about. Her name is Neha, and she's a novelty dice maker.
A novelty dice maker? Well, spit it out. Why does she need the dice? For some kind of sorcery? Sometimes they use the ankle bones of sheep.
No, madam. I felt her aura. She is not the one to blame for this curse.
I don't understand. If it's not her, then where is the source of the doom? How did she explain the curse?
Just don't say you don't have any answer yet. The uncertainty is killing her. You've come this far. You know how to end it. There is an entity behind the entity.
The source is in the taxidermist's shop. He became involved in arts darker than taxidermy and brought the void spirits down upon this place.
Oh, how horrid! I knew something wasn't right about that place. Tell me, did you find a way to break the curse?
Yes, I utilized the secret methods of the remote viewers division.
I understand that you can't divulge official secrets, officer, but know that I appreciate the efforts of your department. All that matters is that the energies are retreating. I can already feel the curse lifting. It will be a long time until we're fully free of it, of course, but still. Thank you, officer. Truly, you've brought a better psychoillumination to this humble bookstore, and that's no small achievement.
It will only last a day or two, a week tops. Then her mood will sour and she will feel the curse again.
Probably.
All right then. All's well that ends well. Should we return to our ordinary lives?
Yeah, we can do that. Well, hopefully she doesn't realize that before we leave. Now, we could talk to the scab leader, who we identified as the gunner of the mercenaries. Not sure if I do want to approach them directly, though. We also have to further explore the whole fishing village area. Definitely want to do that. So, let's have a look at our journal very quick. So, victim's tattoo. Okay. Ask the scab leader about the tattoos. Idiot Doom spouse jacket. Wait for the signal. Find the murder weapon. Open the door. For Evrart, we have to report back. Prove your authority to Titus Harty. Find Morale, the cryptozoologist. Definitely have to do that. Ask another about the tattoo's possible meaning. In karaoke. Who made the call reporting the crime? Who put the clothes in the trash? I think what I want to do is talk to Evrart now and see how he reacts when we let him know that we opened the door, and then we kind of just go from there, I think. Also want to just cash in my bottles. Picked up a few when I was over at the fishing village. And I think after we talk to him, depending on how long that conversation will be, we might be in the area where it's time for karaoke. So maybe we do that. I'm gonna check if I can talk to the lady who is in the whirling and rags.
The tear machines. Your bottles clunk.
60 cents, not much. It's something at least. And I guess I will explore the fishing village side more in the next morning, since we will sleep there anyway, and then we wake up there and then we can explore a little bit more over there. I think that's what I want to do. I'm not sure if I want to confront the scab leader directly, or mercenary. I think I want to get some additional information first. Anything new from Manana?
Hola, wandering man. How can I help you?
Oh, that weasel I visited. Turns out he has one hell of a colonial mug collection.
Yeah, the janitor who gave me the key to his apartment said the guy's a bit of an asshole. Yes, his mug collection certainly represents antiquated social values. Like I said before, I don't know much about this weasel, but the bossman said he's a real piece of work. Thanks for helping out, friend.
Okay. Oh, what's this? Oh. Oh, that is, I think that's the strong healing. Strong moral healing. Hypnogamma. That's so cool. With the extra perception, we see so many more things now. Okay, just double checking if there's anything up here.
The file cabinet stands hundreds of, and the same material you already went through the drawers.
Nothing new there. Anything with the phone?
The payphone hangs.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now I feel a little bit of time pressure as well, since it's something I said like five days to a week, maybe less. And I don't know if that goes from the time of murder or the start of our investigation on a Monday, which would mean we only have like a couple of days more left, or from when we talk to her. So that'll be a question as well. Probably shouldn't wait too long. Anything I can do with my favorite container?
You're back before the cargo container.
Not again.
Its drawer has not lessened since you were last here. If anything, it seems to have grown slightly.
Been in the world for 2 days. Precarious world. Let's try it.
And as it's always been, it's impossible to open a container with rhetoric. Maybe you're losing your mind.
Maybe. I mean, thanks to our Mazov's theory, we actually healed morale through that, so we're just committing to the crazy at this point. Let's see if he has something else to say.
Oh, hey, mister. I knew you'd be back to talk with old Leo here. Yes, I did. It's like Lady Larice said when she opened a bathhouse in the basement of my apartment building. They can only get so far before they're aching to get back. And lots of folk really did keep coming back. No trouble at all, mister.
Okay, nothing else. Let's speak with Evrart again. That old sleazeball. Stuck.
Mr. Dubois, every worker...
Is a living god.
Ha ha ha! Mr. Dubois, so be it. How can I help you today?
Okay, I just finished investigating the local drug trade.
Ah, yes. Your side investigation. Thank you. You've got some spirit clearing up phony drug accusations alongside this murder. I'll talk to the mayor and see if I can get you the key to the city, Harry. Now let's talk real business.
He refuses to discuss it further. It's probably just a small nuisance to him. Not even a speck of anger in his voice. That's that then.
I did it, Evrart. I made it even shadier.
What?
The brew! The shady brew!
Oh, how could I forget your little side project? Well done, Harry. Well done. Don't even tell me what it was. But good job. I love it when workers take the initiative like this.
I opened the door, you asked me. Can we discuss the murder now?
I'm very glad to hear that, Harry. One question. You didn't actually happen to stumble in and see what's inside the apartment, did you?
There is no way to sway this man in any direction. He is unsuggestible and unswayable. Just tell the truth.
I may have gone inside and seen a collection of racist mugs.
Just as I thought. Culturally antiquated mug collection. What a weasel. Pissing on Evrart's Rainbow Coalition. Now let's get down to brass tacks. It's time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why. Real police work is gonna start happening now. I promise you, Harry, this is gonna be good.
The mug collection I mentioned was in the apartment. I found a similar mug in the trash with the hangman's clothes.
Racist mugs in the trash and in the apartment? You guys are just light years ahead of me. I have so much confidence in the ability of your organization. I'm relieved you're doing this and leaving me to do what I do best. Helping people. With the power of politics.
Yes. Do you think this weasel is somehow connected to the murder?
Oh, no. I don't cross paths like that. All I want is for you to succeed in your investigation. I would never complicate things for you.
But this weasel might have cleaned up after the killers.
Believe me, Harry, he's a nobody. Just your basement variety nobody. Can't imagine him being connected to a high-caliber case like this. But he does live nearby. Maybe it's a pedantic weasel. Fascists are known to be neat freaks. I feel like a real detective right now, Harry. Am I getting this right?
He imagines bashing something with an imaginary baton. Great technique. You'd make a great sergeant.
Would he? I'm not so sure about it.
Oh, you're too kind, Harry. Way too kind. I know I'm not a real police officer. You are.
I've heard about a connection between the lynching and the strike. I'd like to hear what you know about it.
By now, I'm sure you've figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys. Wild Pines. Sent to scare us. Another violent measure of the top hats against us flatcaps.
I'm listening.
Harry, this strike is the culmination of many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group. They tried to shut the strike down by sending in armed mercenaries.
You mean our victim?
A security contractor? Can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, And they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun fire?
Something that I wanted to check. Oh, I can actually level up while I'm here, but I can't switch between the tabs. Let's do that afterwards. I wanted to check out my tasks.
I'm talking beasts. Hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Saramaritsa, you name it, they've done it. Raping, killing, burning villages, killing little children for the Senorita Pineapple Company, Harry.
That's what we heard.
Everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revachol into a third world slum. Honestly, the only thing they didn't do is kill the village elephant.
Hold on, you have a village elephant?
No, Harry, the elephant is metaphorical and so is the village, but the mercs and their brutality are very real.
Go on.
Now, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. I have the luxury of staying in my container, you see. If I need to go somewhere, they just move my container.
Wait, they moved the container?
Yes, I'm an old man, Harry. My legs aren't what they used to be. They lift my office with that big crane. It's actually very fun. You should try it. But enough about me and my fun container. The killers the company hired, I think there were 3 of them, all hardened commando types.
Do you know about that?
One of them got downright suicidal, getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. Even their own negotiator couldn't control him. That's your boy, the one who likes hanging out and trees.
By negotiator, you mean Joyce?
Harry, what you need to realize is, we dock workers are not pushovers. We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough and we push back. And when we do, we push to kill.
Wait, the whole neighborhood is in on it?
Potentially, Harry, potentially. We got arm wrestling champions, rowing club people, ex-coal miners, tough guys, all ready to spring into action for their home base.
Who exactly did the pushing?
There's a militant wing inside the Union. A group of people whose duties don't involve manual labor, but peacekeeping in the neighborhood, making sure everything runs smoothly. They're like you guys. Idealistic people who want to make sure bad things don't happen. And if they already have, well, punishment must follow.
So these idealists killed our victim?
One day Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, "Boss, socialist democratic fervor drove us to take it upon ourselves to kill this beast that was burdening the land." He probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him. I gave them 2 weeks paid leave and told them to lay low to avoid retaliation.
Aren't you worried we might arrest them for this?
Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martinez boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see the man who takes them in. Besides, I sent my lawyer girl to look after them.
Despite his
We
boastful
noticed.
tone, he's having doubts about something. But what? Maybe he doesn't believe the boys really had it in them. They're his boys, after all.
I think you're sharing information with the police because you don't think they actually did it.
That's very clever, Harry. Yes, they might have said it just to impress some girls or something. But Titus has a bad temper, so the chances are 50-50.
How do you know the mercenaries were hired by the shipping company?
How do I know? Let me tell you about these people. That's their MO. It's what they do. Last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security contractor. The strike was over the workers' right to wear protective footwear, Harry. These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company after a little rebranding. And I'm sure as hell not surprised to see an army of scabs under my gates.
So you believe the scabs were organized by the security contractor?
You said it. Hell, one of those guys looks big enough to take down that proverbial elephant. Boys like that don't just happen to show up during strikes.
The name of the company is Crenell this time. It might have been Settlement before.
Of course. You're always one step ahead of me, Harry. I'm no genius. I'm in this position because people like me.
The remaining mercenaries are organizing a tribunal to take on the Hardys.
Tribunal? That sounds serious, Harry. We Union men should be shitting ourselves. I wish you hadn't told me that. I'm gonna lose sleep over this. Let's change the subject.
He's clearly happy about the tribunal.
You don't seem too worried about it.
Oh, Harry, what do I really think about the tribunal? You're trying to climb to second base with old Evrart before you've even courted him properly.
He wants you to do more things for him before.
You mentioned a lawyer girl.
Oh, Liz is a bright one. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand socialist. Sometimes she scares me with her zeal.
Okay, tell me about Titus Hardy and his crew.
Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them. Exemplary Union members, always working to advance their position in the local socialist democratic movement. Core members. Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself. Gotta love his initiative.
Yeah.
Interesting. Who's second in command?
They're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Whatever happened, I'm sure they only had the best interests of Martinez and Revachol in mind. Work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't fight them. They really are just like you. Men who like beer, women, and some order on the streets.
Evrart, I met the Hardys. Can you ask them to cooperate with me?
But of course, it's the least I can do for my good friend Harry. I'll do it right after we've concluded this talk.
Okay.
You can now go and tell Titus about this. See what he has to say.
Also, Harry, here's 5 real.
Why are you giving me this?
I'm not giving you anything. I'm just holding out 5 real.
Needless to say, this is another move. Don't take it.
I don't need it. I only wanted you to help me with the Hardy Boys.
Oh, I wasn't offering it to you, just holding it out there. But I'm willing to share information. Was there anything else?
There was a bullet in the hangman's head.
So they shot him?
Sounds pleasantly surprised.
He was shot in the head before he was hanged.
How odd. I don't know what to say, Lieutenant. They told me they hanged him. A hanged man is what I saw when I took a look into that yard. What I do know is, the case is in safe hands. If anyone can get to the bottom of this shot and hanged man, it's my 2 little policemen. Godspeed, policeman.
Oh.
Was it a good talk? I'm not sure we made much headway here. I was hoping we'd bust the case wide open. Heck, I even wanted to tell you what I really want to achieve with the strike. I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez. And, of course, I also wanted you to find your gun. But it's like I can't completely trust you. Yet.
Yet?
Yes, Harry. It's like I can't fully trust you if you're not a man of the left. I want to, but I just can't.
A man of the left. So you have to be a social democrat. He's been hurt too much in the past by men who aren't social democrats.
What's that supposed to mean? I'm more left than you are. We're bringing communism back.
You're saying it, but I don't believe you. You know how it is, company snitches, agent provocateurs everywhere. I'm barricaded in this fortress of mine, and I need to get a message out. Will you help me?
And what would this entail?
Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper, and then mail it to my accountant in La Delta.
Tim, what do you think of this?
It depends. I don't think what we just got from Mr. Clare was very useful.
But, he thinks, it's your call.
As I said, it weighs on me heavily. But once we get really talking, well, I'm gonna hand you the keys to Martinez, and maybe even help you figure out who's behind this killing.
He's saying as little as possible. as vaguely as he can, deliberately omitting things.
What are the signatures for?
I'm glad you asked, Harry. The Union is going to build a modern youth centre in Martinez. It will be righteous. We're gonna get those teenagers off drugs and on roller skates.
Roller skates?
There's a nameless little street on the coast with some old houses around it. Most people have already signed. I just need 2 more signatures to get this mission off the ground, Harry.
You mean the fishing village?
Yes, the little cul-de-sac on the coast, where all the men have drowned, in either the sea or the bottle. A gloomy place, doesn't have that Union attitude.
You're already pretty deep into this. What's a little more? No one can see you here in Martinez.
What will happen to the current occupants?
They are just gonna have to deal with the construction noise for 6 months, and then they'll be living like kings. Right next to a fancy new youth centre, designed by the best architects from Stella Marie.
Is he absolutely sure the tenants won't be thrown out in the street?
Are you 100% sure no one's going to end up homeless?
Am I? Harry, these people, Martinez is the most important thing in my life. I would never let anything bad happen to them. We're gonna build a youth centre there. The value of their properties goes up and kids have a place to play in. I'm looking out for these people, not pulling the rug from under them, Harry. I'm looking out for all of Martinez, not just the harbour.
He means it.
He means it. Interesting. Fine. I mean, we will have to talk to them anyway.
You bring joy to my heart, Harry. Such a pleasure to be working with you. Here.
He hands you an open white envelope.
You need to get signatures from Isabel Sadie and Lillian Carter. The cul-de-sac is right past the pawn shop and across the canal. I heard there was some trouble with the water lock, but it should be fixed now.
Yeah, I did that.
Once you have the signatures, mail this to 13022 La Rocca in La Delta. Then I'll know you're a solid socialist.
We go over a few details concerning the murder.
Most certainly, Harry. Nothing brightens...
Nothing new.
By all means, Harry.
We may lie to him, but I want to first see what the people have to say about this
Jamrock Shuffle.
proposition.
In a way, yes, you are treasure hunting. Most officers from Precinct 41 do what is called the Jamrock Shuffle, cracking open containers. Most of them are from Jamrock or Coal City, the poorest parts of Revachol, that also overlap with the network of royal catacombs called Le Royaume, just beneath the streets. As children, you would all go underground, hoping to find treasure, and come back with a rat's tail or a used needle. That playful curiosity must still be in you. Who knows, maybe one day the Orbe de Montagne, the Holy Scepter, and the Cocaine Skull will all be yours.
Ooh. More loot when cracking open containers. Let's unlock the next one. Kinda like getting these. Precarious world. All red checks fail. Ooh. That is... Let's do it though. I hope there will be a good reward for this. Can unlock another one. Let's actually do it. I want all the slots here. Bring the Lawjaw. And let's take the gum one. Why not? Alright. Okay, pick up the dice from the dice maker, that is from the number on the victim's armor. We'll have to do that. Okay. Well, I guess we go back to the Hardy Boys now. Now that we got our official blessing from Evrart. And then we have to get back to the fishing village tomorrow. I do want to talk to the people there first before making a decision on the whole signature thing. Kind of want to see what they feel, how they feel about it. Now that I'm also living in the fishing village, I'm living in the neighborhood. I wanna be on their good side, and we'll decide what they think best. At the very least, I want to hear their perspective on this. Okay. Let's get back. It's now 5:40. We could also use one of the books to pass some time. I think that it's always like a half an hour to read one of those books. So there will be something interesting happening with them as well. We might do that, advance time a little bit, because there's also still the window in the little room where the Hardy Boys are. I want to check out in the evening, so maybe we will just advance time like half an hour, maybe an hour. That's dark outside, but not too late. Okay. Anything new now from Manana?
Hola, wondering.
Oh. Come on. Can you move? No? Okay. All right. Whirling in rats. So let's check if I can.
Again, you find yourself looking at
Not time
that big
yet.
old...
Actually, yeah. Let's check. We have a few books to interact with. Let's do that. Also have. Oh, let's look at the
You take
envelope.
the legal documents out of the envelope. A 12 to 40 month construction period and the zoning plan in the addendum.
Look at the zoning plan.
The youth center cuts into the ocean like the bow of some great modern ship. Apparently, it's going to cover most, if not all, of the street and the square between the existing houses. It's 3 stories tall.
What do you think of this, Kim?
I'm no property lawyer, but it looks fine. I like the print size. They're not selling or leasing anything. It's not a perfect solution, but...
How else are you going to build something? It's always inconvenient to build things, and citizens inevitably have disagreements over such construction projects. But there's no other way.
Try to find a loophole. 70%. Very high, but might as well try.
There is no loophole. The simple truth is, the current residents are going to lose their street access, and for the next 12 to 40 months, their lives will be dominated by constant construction noise right next door.
Look, Kim, these people are going to have to move away. Can we do something about it?
I should have seen it.
Lieutenant frowns as he reads over the document again.
Evrart probably has eyes on us, but we could try to get other people to sign this instead of those listed. Or you could forge their signatures yourself. By the time he finds out, we'll already be gone.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan. I like it. So, what kind of books do we have? We have the Cockatoo book. I think we read that. Pretty sure. Map of Martinez. Medicinal purpose of the Pale. Book La Fumée, volume number 1. Handwritten note from the fridge. The Great Innocence. And book Primer for Small Kids. Let's read that one.
You hold in your hand the colorful primer. The title reads, A Primer for Small Kids. There's a bear involved.
Exactly what I need.
This book will show you the score. Get you oriented with those basic concepts you appear to be hazy on. The anthropomorphic bear will give you the lowdown of your life.
On what?
The alphabet.
Oh, flip through the pages.
Every page has one word designating one letter of the alphabet with a faded illustration. Most of them are scientific and cultural principles. It goes as follows.
Let's do this.
A is for azimuth. B is for Boreas. C is for cosine. D is for diamite. E is for ellipse. F is for phlogiston. G is for gamete. H is for homeboy. I is for econ. J is for Jura. K is for collapse. L is for laudanum. M is for myriad. N is for nadir. O is for aureole. P is for perihelion.
Yeah.
Q is for quasar. R is for rhododendron. S is for sinus. T is for tricolor. U is for ultra. V is for vector. W is for Wahrheit. X is for xylophone. Y is for Ustava. Z is for zenith.
That's it?
That's it. You know the alphabet now.
Kim, I know the alphabet now.
Good. I also know the alphabet.
It is a very useful skill to have, he thinks, for all sorts of life activities like reading and...
Okay. That's good. I'm not sure if we should do it in here, though. I'm not sure if then like, the scenery will change, so let's go outside. Wondering who we could convince to sign this. Maybe the guy who sold us the street clothes, or maybe Kuno and Kunet. Let's actually... Hey, you. Can you sign this? I want to check it again now. I assume forging it...
You take the legal documents out of the envelope. A 12 to 40 month construction period and the zoning plan in the addendum.
Also thought maybe about the old guys since they're too...
It is such a pleasure to see you.
I'm convinced
again,
him to use the sandwich. Oh, what's this?
Everything's still... Me? It's a boring story, officer. Who cares?
Apricot Suzerainty calls to mind an
we
era
have this?
when the Seaguy archipelago was colonized by Revachol. It's a...
Very cool. I admire your awareness of our intertwined histories. It's super nice of you to apologize for colonialism. But the Apricot Suzerainty is a shithole. That's why I left.
But isn't it only a shithole because of Revachol?
If you say so, officer.
Well, we had that conversation before. Footfall within, not human. Mere dog no more. Can I do it here? Am I still being watched?
You take the legal documents out of the envelope.
Could be
A
watching.
12 to 40 month...
I need a hidden place. Maybe we can do it over at the fishing village anyway, or when I'm in my newly acquired house there. But let's read this. Now, Fume.
The front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Friesel. From the sides of his head, a pair of white antlers spread to the corners of the cover.
Why Friesel?
Because Friesel was incompetent, foolish, and cruel. In short, the embodiment of everything the communards wished to overthrow. It's satire, you see. To your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct your attention. Just column after column of closely set text, interrupted occasionally by little doodles in black and white. No advertisements, you notice. So who's funding this radical commentary? After rifling the pages with your thumb several times, you return to the table of contents. The magazine is divided into several sections: international developments, Kunst und Kultur, and local concerns. Just inside the cover, there's also an editor's note.
Kunst und Kultur means art and culture, by the way. Lots of German words in this game. Read the editor's note.
Comrade, as you know, this journal takes its name from Mazov's immortal expression, Du Cristal alla Fume. This was his way of describing the way the rigid, crystalline structures of capitalist ideology turned to smoke under communism. But, like the structures of capitalist ideology, we too are at risk of going à la fume, unlike many publications which are content to spoon-feed their readers reassuring drivel. La Fume is committed to telling the radical truth, even when that truth may drive away potential subscribers. Perhaps they've overestimated the market demand for this kind of commentary. So please, if you value our radical Mazovian perspective on contemporary politics, culture, and international affairs, please consider subscribing today. Yours in struggle, the editors.
Kim, I think this is communist magazine.
What do you expect? It was laying around the office of the Debarders Union. They're probably bankrolling the thing.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
I want to catch up on international developments.
This section includes a long, tedious critique of the latest round of free trade negotiations between the EPIS nations and the Free State of Semenine. You also skip over an article about heavy fuel oil smuggling along the Messina border, something about bear wrestling in Samara, book riots in Yugograd. Face it, you really aren't interested in foreign affairs. You're not even sure where most of these countries are. You flip back to the front of the magazine.
What
the
is
table of contents unfolds before you.
What is Kunst und Kultur?
It takes a moment, but gradually it dawns on you that Kunst und Kultur must mean arts and culture. As you leaf through this section, you come across several reviews of recent radio plays. as well as a brief artist spotlight featuring a local artist identified only as CS. The main feature, though, is a long essay titled Tip Top Tourney, a critical Mazovian perspective.
Read the profile of CS.
This so-called artist spotlight is really just a brief Q&A, made all the briefer by the subject's evident hostility to her interviewer.
Just a moment, what is this tip-top tourney?
The actual article is surprisingly light on details, but after skimming a page or two, you gather that it has something to do with motor carriage racing. If you don't follow it, you only ever hear about the ludicrous sponsorships and obscene death toll.
Alright, let's see what these communists have to say about Tip-Top.
You think you're settling in for a relaxing recap of the most recent season, maybe sprinkled with some nice anecdotes about a few of the more colorful drivers. Instead, you find yourself skimming a 10,000-word feature about all the politically problematic aspects of Tip-Top Tourney.
Wait, what's wrong with Tip-Top?
Where to even start? For one, there's the crass commercialism of its sponsorships. And then there's the practically criminal emphasis on deadly motor crashes. So, all of it, basically.
So, hang on. Who wrote this stuff?
Oddly enough, this article has 2 bylines. Nasteb Encolada Bernal and Exilus Buka.
What's so bad about sponsorship?
Under capitalism, the article says, every pursuit has its price. Every pleasure, even one as elemental as the joy of racing others around a track, is reduced to an advertising opportunity. Thus, the so-called tourney becomes a competition between increasingly meaningless brand signifiers. Your discount laundry detergent racing against a pack of Astra cigarettes, or even a fritter.
Right, but then you get to see them crash.
And that precisely is what's problematic about it. Were it not for the promise of random, spectacular violence, audiences would quickly lose interest. At the end of the day, it's the destruction of these 750,000 real races that you're really watching for.
Wow, you're right. I really am just in it for the violence.
You see, one cannot avoid the conclusion that Tip-Top Tourney is simply the apotheosis of spectacular entertainment under capitalism.
Kim, did you know Tip-Top Tourney is actually an orgiastic ritual of capitalistic destruction? I had no idea.
I can safely say the thought had never crossed my mind, Detective.
The lieutenant furrows his brow. I wonder what else is really just a metaphor for life under capitalism.
I'm sure most things are, if the young men who wrote this article are to be believed. If I had to wager, I'd say they've never even seen the inside of a motor, much less a motor race. I take whatever they write with a large grain of salt.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
Let's see what you mean by local concerns.
Unsurprisingly, much of this section is taken up with articles declaring unqualified support for the dock workers' strike. You skim the headlines. Paint the harbor red and white. Martinez tames the wild pines. A city in revolt. First we take Martinez, then we take La Delta. Finally, there's a brief article by the writer, G. Martin, accusing the owner of the Cape Side apartments of illegally attempting to evict certain communist tenants simply for not having paid their rent.
Wouldn't it be better for everyone if labor and capital would reach some reasonable accommodation?
According to these editorials, there can be no accommodation with the forces of international capital or their mucilaginous allies in the coalition. Why do communists love puerile insults? And they wonder why they're always being left out in the cold. You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
Okay, let's put it away. We actually were able to pass some time with it. Nope.
What's this? We're getting reports of normal, reasonable, temperate, political opinions somewhere in Martinaise.
You must be mistaken. I'm a real radical.
Of course, a radical centrist. In these bright and loud times where 1,000 frequencies drown one another out, sober thinking is a radical act. It's time to become a citizen of the Kingdom of Conscience.
Where is this Kingdom of Conscience?
It is not a place. It is a moment in time that can only arise in the right circumstances. In all of human history, it's only been achieved a handful of times.
How do you bring about those circumstances?
Incrementally. History's greatest catastrophes have been brought about by people trying to make the world a better place. Too quickly. That's the genius of Dolores Day. She recognized that progress is meaningless if its gains are lost because of instability. Real, lasting change can only come about gradually, increment by increment.
But what about all the things that are wrong now?
Tisk tisk. Just because you live in the present doesn't mean you have the right to place your needs above the needs of the future. You may never live to see the Kingdom of Conscience. Your children may not. Even your grandchildren might not. But that's no excuse not to keep working. What benevolence.
Wait, is the Kingdom of Conscience really about doing things or just preserving the status quo?
Do you believe the status quo is preferable to chaos and bloodshed?
No.
Then you've never lived through real chaos. Sometimes, in the face of great disaster, defending the status quo is progress.
Okay, but what's the Kingdom of Conscience actually like?
The kingdom is difficult to comprehend and even more difficult to describe. Partly because humanity will need to discard many of the categories that define and limit it today. The Kingdom of Conscience is post-capitalist, post-national. It's also post-industrial, post-ideological, and even post-sexual.
I don't think I want to be a moralist anymore. We're a communist.
What you want is immaterial. The Kingdom of Conscience is coming, whether you like it or not. Only very slowly.
Centrists. We'll talk to her again now that we taken care of the curse.
It's like a little gift from...
Nothing new there. Let's go inside the whirling in rags again. Alright.
Again, you find yourself looking at that.
Still not. Okay. I think it's still too early. But we will continue with the conversation with the Hardy Boys next time. I think this is a good time to take a break. Thank you all for watching today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please give the video a like. Maybe consider subscribing to the channel. Share the video with friends, family, and the people on the internet. That all helps me out a whole bunch and will bring you more content in the future. If you want to go above and beyond, you can check out the Patreon link down below. And I will be back with more Disco Elysium, the final cut, tomorrow. Until then, have a great time.